My first question tonight is, what is religion?
So أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد الأئمة والمهديين وسلم تسليما. Religion is a man, and religion is following that man, finding that man and following that man. In the Bible, in the very beginning, it says that God was walking in the Garden of Eden alongside Adam and Eve. And in the Quran it says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blew from His spirit into Adam. After He blew from His spirit into Adam, He commanded the angels to prostrate down to Adam. What we get from this story is that there is this spirit, this part of God, this spirit of God that was blown and it was sent inside creation. That spirit of God, which was not born, nor does it ever die, and is everlasting, remaining in creation, that is God in creation. That is religion. To find the Spirit of God and to follow it. Mm-hmm. The Spirit of God went inside Adam, and then after Adam passed away and Adam was just a veil, it went into his successor, and then his successor, and his successor, and his successor, and his successor, and is everlasting forever. Mm-hmm. So the Spirit of God has many names and many veils. From His names, from His veils were Adam, Noah, Moses, Jonah, and every single prophet of Allah. All of the prophets of Allah, they make up a part of God in creation. And God in creation is that spirit which is everlasting from the beginning all the way to the end. The goal of religion is to find that man, that veil behind which the Spirit of God is, and to prostrate, to obey, to give victory to Him. That is religion.
Thank you. You mentioned that the objective is to find that man.
Yes.
How do we do that?
Well, Imam Ahmad he highlighted this law, and I prefaced the law by saying that there are 1,000,001 ways to find God. And He has an infinite amount of doors and ways that are open. Some people, they see the success of that prophet or that messenger or that individual, and they take it as a sign that God is with him. This was the case with Saul when he gave David the task to go forward and gather for him 100 foreskins of the Philistines. And David went and he came back and he brought 200. And it says in the Bible that Saul looked upon David and his accomplishment and the success that he had, and he said, God is with him. So he recognized him in that way. Some people recognize the Spirit of God through istikharas. Some people recognize the Spirit of God through dreams in which the infallibles have guided them, or God guided them in that dream to this individual. Mm-hmm. Other people have believed through miracles. But what we do know is that while these are all ways, these are not the absolute way. There is a law. It's a criteria of 3 parts that every single person whom has in him the Spirit of God has to fulfill. Mm-hmm. 1, he has to be appointed by God, because God is the only one who can appoint a king, an authority, a successor, a ruler on the earth. He's the only one. And that's why we find in the Quran and in the Bible, when the Israelites, when they wanted a king, they had to go back to the prophet Samuel, and they said, Samuel, please ask God to appoint for us a king. So they couldn't appoint themselves and they couldn't elect a king, but rather they had to ask God to appoint one. And God, in the beginning, He appointed Adam. So this person has to have what we call the will. He has to be appointed, just like God appointed Adam and said, this is my successor. Now everybody bow down. He's my caliph in the earth. a successor must be appointed, either publicly or they have to claim a will from the past. Public appointments is like Jesus ﷺ, when he appointed very clearly in front of the people Simon Peter, and he said that this is his rock which he will build his church on. We have the public appointment of Aaron ﷺ and Yusha ibn Nun, Joshua, by Moses. We have the public appointment of Ali ibn Abi Talib by Muhammad ﷺ. And then we have also claiming of the will, like we have the claiming of the will by Moses, who said, I was mentioned by Joseph. We have the claiming of the will by Muhammad ﷺ, who said, I'm the comforter, who Jesus mentioned before. And this is my name in his words, in his text. We have Ahmad Hassan Salam, who claimed the will of Rasulullah ﷺ, which he wrote on his deathbed and said, whoever follows this shall never go astray. And he said, I am the name Ahmad in that will. So the will, your name being mentioned by a previous successor, aka being mentioned by God, this is a must. You can't have a caliph of Allah or somebody coming forth and saying it is obligatory to obey me, but at the same time their name cannot be found anywhere. The second thing is that he has to be the most knowledgeable of the people. And I think that this law, everybody agrees to it. The Buddhist would certainly agree that the Buddha has to be, or the Dalai Lama has to be the most knowledgeable. The Catholics will agree that the Pope has to be the most knowledgeable and the final word. The Shia and the Sunnis, they believe that Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa, he has to be the most knowledgeable of the people. There's no word after them. So knowledge, being able to demonstrate knowledge, like it's mentioned in the Quran that Adam, when he was appointed by God, God taught Adam the names of all things. So being able to know and to be asked any question and to have the answer to it, to be the most knowledgeable, this is one of those criteria. The third criteria is that they have to have the banner of supremacy is to Allah. Now what that means is that we can't have a proof of God that comes to the people and he says, okay, I'm going to build a democratic state or a socialist state or a communist state or any sort of state that is ruling by anything else other than what God brought down, right? So the unique thing about Ahmad Hassan Salam, and it's one of the reasons, it's one of the very clear reasons why anybody should follow him, is that there is nobody in this day and age on the face of the earth besides him and us, and we are on the same under the same banner, and I'm his successor, that is calling people to this concept of the supremacy of God, saying that nobody can appoint a leader or a president or a prime minister except for God. And that's how you know the proof of God.